Whoosh! Hi, 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 hi. Well, let's get to reading. In the misty veil of a forgotten bog, moonlight danced across the waterlogged ground. A hut stood on the fringes of a rural human hamlet, close enough for the distant chime of bells, but far enough that an elf's sway remained their own. The air hung heavy with the scent of damp earth and wild herbs. A child entered the world beneath a canopy of twisted, ancient willows. Kisara labored in quiet peace within her modest dwelling stone walls, grown from the earth itself, interwoven with living branches that had been shaped and coaxed over decades into sturdy supports and an arched roof. No pain marred the birth. Gentle spells wrapped around her like warm mist, easing every sensation while keeping the air pure and still, free of any taint. The wards etched into the living wood hummed softly, glowing with a faint green light as they welcomed a new spark of life. The infant drew its first breath, and the dwelling seemed to sigh in quiet approval, branches shifting ever so slightly as if stretching to cradle the newcomer. The child was named Soul, a name Kisara breathed in the hush after dawn. It carried the old meaning of light unbroken, a nod to ancient elven lore drawn from tales of the unconquered sun that pierced even the deepest fog. Soul had silver hair that caught what little light filtered through the mist, and eyes of clear gold that seemed to hold sparks of something ancient. Unlike Kisara's brown hair and pure silver irises, eyes like polished moon metal, the child looked touched by a different star. No father was spoken of. Kisara simply said the child was a gift from the mist, and in time Soul would come to understand that some truths unfolded slowly, like roots seeking deeper soil. From the beginning, Soul's existence was a gentle merging of two worlds, one of warm flesh and one of quiet spirit. The reincarnated soul did not flood into the newborn like a torrent. It settled gently, a patient presence in the back of an unformed mind. The infant's brain could not yet bear the weight of 254 lifetimes. Memories of fallen empires, lost loves, and extinguished stars lingered just beyond reach, translating bit by bit into instincts, dreams, and sudden certainties. At first, the soul was little more than a watchful companion, offering faint nudges, like a voice heard in the wind. In those early moons, Soul's cries brought Kisara's soothing songs, melodies laced with mana that calmed the air and warmed the cradle of woven vines. The infant's small hands grasped at shadows, but the soul within felt the world's pull, prompting soft urges. Truth turned to warmth. Seek the milk. The body answered with simple grace of any newborn. The soul's touch masked as natural knowledge. As moon turned to seasons, the merging deepened. The soul's influence grew from whispers to gentle choices, like prompts in an ancient game of choices. Reach for the shiny leaf, feel its texture, or cry now, call her close. Sometimes the body followed eagerly, sometimes it fumbled with a child's clumsy joy or frustration. The slow weave kept the world from pushing back. No strange speech, no eerie stare. Soul babbled and crawled like any bog child, the ancient presence hidden as intuition, that quiet inner voice everyone claims but few truly hear. By the time Soul could toddle on unsteady legs, the bog had become a place of small wonders and careful lessons. The dwelling stood as one with the land, living trees shaped into walls and beams, their bark smooth and warm, veins of sap still flowing beneath the surface. Kisara had spoken to them year by year, guiding their growth until they formed a snug home, roots deep in the mud, leaves brushing the roof like protective hands. Each morning, after simple porridge with bogberries, Soul helped tend the wards.
Come, little one,
Kisara would say, voice soft as moss. Soul placed small palms on the rune-etched bark, feeling the gentle draw. Mana flowed from the child to dwelling, like breath shared between friends, replenishing the spell that kept the beast at bay and sickness out. For stronger wards, Kisara lent her own essence. Her silver eyes glowed faintly as she guided the flow. Soul learned early that mana was life itself, the quiet strength that moved in every living thing. Most folk could only send it a few inches from their hand. Only the gifted reached an arm's length without strain.
feel it here.
Kisara said one day, pressing Soul's palm to a stone. A small spark bloomed, warming the rock.
Close is easy, far off, it scatters like seed in the wind. Mana respects distance.
Soul once tried to warm a cup across the room and felt the energy slip away uselessly. Kisara smiled without judgment.
That's why we touch what we mean to change. Throw the flame if you must reach farther, but even then, best to be near as the flames grow cold once they leave your hand.
Life stayed simple and close. Very few merchants from the nearby hamlet traded now and then. Grain for healing herbs, tools for wards, and silver for shaped wood. But they kept their distance, murmuring of elf tricks or wary of elven witchery. Soul learned the bog's ways, which roots eased hunger, which flowers warned of poison. Dreams brought fragments of other lives, flashes of swords or starlit skies. But they wove into the child's own thoughts, making Soul quicker to spot danger or be more charismatic in small ways. By 9 summers, Soul had grown tall and wiry, silver hair flowing past narrow shoulders, golden eyes bright with curiosity. The merging had deepened quietly. The soul felt more like an inseparable part of self. The old lives no longer separate echoes, but threads in a single tapestry. Becoming more fully yourself, one breath at a time. One crisp autumn morning, as fog thinned and birds called from the reeds, Kisara led Sol to the hidden grove behind the dwelling. There stood her life tree, tall and graceful, bark traced with faint glowing veins, leaves shimmering like captured moonlight.
Today,
Kisara said, voice low and reverent,
we call the seed home for you, from my tree as our kin have done. It will grow with you, become your companion and your wellspring.
Sol knelt on soft moss, heart quickening. Kisara reached up and gently plucked a small, luminous pod from a low branch. It pulsed with warm inner light, alive and waiting.
Open your hands,
She murmured.
let it know your heart.
Sol did, and as the pod settled in the child's palms, a soft warmth spread. Mana flowed, not as force, but as meeting, tiny roots of light threaded into spirit, a quiet bond forming. Visions flickered, vast quiet forest, endless skies, echoes of lives long past. The bog held its breath, the wards glowed in soft harmony. In that instance, Sol felt the deep settling, the old companion no longer guiding from afar, but simply being. The unknown stretched ahead, like the mists themselves, full of promise and shadow. The tree's leaves rustled once, as if in welcome, and Sol, for the first time, felt truly at home in this new skin. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.